Every day we get closer and closer to the NBA playoffs, and one of the most exciting conversations at this time of the year is which teams actually have a chance to lift up the Larry O'Brien trophy at the end of the season. And so I thought right now is the perfect time to go over which teams I think actually are contenders and which teams I think are not contenders. So starting off, I'm just going to get right into it. I'm just going to state the obvious. The OKC Thunder are 100% contenders. They're the best team in the NBA this season. They have the best record, the best defense. They have the fourth best offense in the NBA, probably have the MVP on their team, and it's clear as day that the OKC Thunder have a real shot and a real opportunity to go back-to-back this year. So we'll stick with the Western Conference. The next team that I'm going to go to is going to be my second best team in the Western Conference, in my opinion, and that's the San Antonio Spurs. As of right now, they are second in the Western Conference, even with Wemby being in and out of the lineup, missing about 13 games this season, and he has had some games where he's come off the bench dealing with injuries. Wemby, other than when he's been injured, when he's actually been on the floor, he's been one of the best players in the NBA. He is an absolute game changer on defense, which is why they have the third best defense in the NBA. And when he is on the court, their defensive rating rises to the best in the NBA. Other than Wemby, I really like the guard play on this team. Their trio of guards with De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, and rookie Dylan Harper off the bench is such a good punch because all three of them have such a good ability to drive to the basket. And when you have to already worry about Wemby and you now have to worry about all these three quick guards trying to get downhill and get to the basket, it puts constant pressure on the defense, and I love that aspect about the Spurs. And I really like how the Spurs kind of stagger all of their minutes so that no matter what, one of these guards is always going to be on the court. You always have to worry about quick De'Aaron Fox driving to the basket. And when you're not, big 6'5" Stephon Castle is quick and he's getting to the basket. And then they go off the floor and in comes Dylan Harper. It's just the defense never gets a break from these guards, and I really like that aspect about the Spurs. So I think that the Spurs are contenders. I'm going to give them a yes on the contenders. Moving on to my third ranked team in the Western Conference in terms of the contender hierarchy, it's the Denver Nuggets. Now, I'm actually not as in on the Denver Nuggets as a lot of other people seem to be, mainly because of the fact that they are actually very bad defensively. They have the 24th ranked defense in the NBA. They are very close to being at the bottom of the league with some of the teams like the Wizards, the Nets. This Nuggets defense is not good. But the crazy thing is that even having one of the worst defenses in the NBA, they have the best offense in the NBA. The advanced analytics love the Nuggets on offense, and even their three-point percentage. They shoot the three the best out of any team in the NBA. So this team is polar opposites. The best offense in the NBA versus one of the worst defenses in the NBA. And because this team does have the Nikola Jokic factor, Jokic is so good that he can will a team in the playoffs to win a game. Jamal Murray, shout out to Jamal Murray making his first All-Star appearance this season. I am going to still give them the contender label, but I am very hesitant to give them that this year, especially because when they won the championship a couple years ago, they had the 15th ranked defense that season. So they've shown that with an average defense, they can go far in the playoffs and win a championship. But this defense right now is not average. They need to improve on the defensive end. But as of right now, I am going to say that they are contenders, but I have them ranked clearly below the Spurs and the OKC Thunder. And to be honest, those are the only three contenders that I have in the Western Conference. If we go down to fourth place, we have the Houston Rockets. They have the fifth best offense in the NBA and the sixth best defense in the NBA. They're very versatile defensively with their big wings like Amen Thompson, Tari Eason, Jabari Smith Jr. Their point of attack defenders are up there with some of the best in the NBA. The only problem is that recently, the last really 3 weeks or so, this team doesn't look like the same team. Teams have been really exposing the flaws of the Houston Rockets. When it gets to clutch time, they're guarding Amen Thompson with their center and just daring him to shoot any three that he wants to, and he either doesn't take the three or he does take the three and most likely misses it, and teams are exposing that. Teams are also exposing the fact that Alperen Sengun is just not that good on defense, and they're attacking, and they're bringing Alp into every single action in the clutch time. They're trying to hunt that matchup in pick and rolls every time, and I think that over the course of a 7-game series, when teams are doing that from the first minute to the 48th minute. I just don't think that the Houston Rockets are going to be able to survive that as currently constructed right now. And on top of that, they didn't even make a single move at the trade deadline. They needed guard play because they don't have Fred VanVleet, and maybe they're just going to wait till next season. Maybe next season is the year where they really go for it once Fred VanVleet comes back, and maybe they make some other moves around the edges. But this season, I'm out on the Rockets. And I'm also out on the Lakers this season. I don't think that the Lakers are contenders either. You would think that this team would be one of the best offenses in the NBA with Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, even though both of them have missed time throughout stretches of the season this year. This team is the 11th ranked offense in the NBA, so they're not anywhere near as good as they need to be offensively. And it's been talked about so much how bad the Lakers defense is. They're actually the 22nd ranked defense in the NBA right now. But when Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron are all on the court at the same time, the defense is even worse. And they don't really have perimeter defenders. I mean, they have Marcus Smart, who is not as good as he once was, but he could still guard. DeAndre Ayton isn't really a defensive center. Rui Hachimura is not really that good defensively. I'm not a fan of this Lakers team right now, and they are not on my contender list. So that is it for the Western Conference. Now let's move over to the East. The East is a little bit weaker this year. Obviously, Jason Tatum isn't playing with the Celtics right now. He's likely going to miss the rest of the season, even though he is just starting to practice with the G League team. Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers are not in the picture this year. So the East is a little bit weaker this season than it usually is, but there is still some contenders. My number 1 and number 2, I honestly can't decide between the Knicks and the Pistons. I can see any argument that anybody wants to make for the Knicks being the best team in the East or for the Pistons being the best team in the East. The Knicks are elite offensively. Their defense is above average. It's not great. It's not like one of the best defenses, but it's above average. But they are just so versatile offensively. We all know how good Jalen Brunson is when he has the ball in his hands. But this season, I've really liked the stretches where Jalen Brunson is playing off the ball because they have been very creative at getting Jalen Brunson to move off the ball, and it creates more opportunities not only for him, but other players involved too, because when Jalen doesn't have the ball in his hands, the defense is still locked in on him, and it creates more opportunities for some of these other guys to stand out offensively. Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, even Tyler Kolek has had some really good games this season. And on the flip side, when you want to talk about the Detroit Pistons, they're kind of the exact opposite of the Knicks. They have not one of the best offenses, but they have an above average offense. But they're elite defensively. Second best defense in the NBA. Asar Thompson has been great. Jalen Duren is an all-star this season. Isaiah Stewart has been really good defensively. Ron Holland. This team's defense is among the best of the NBA. And on offense, I do think that they need a little bit more outside of Cade Cunningham. But Cade has just been fantastic this season. So I do have the Knicks and the Pistons as contenders. So next up, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I can't make up my mind on the Cavs. I don't know if they're contenders or if they're not contenders. Because I can see this team going all the way to the finals. But to be honest, I can also see this team getting bounced in the second round. And I can't make up my mind. It's one of the hardest teams to assess in the NBA right now. Especially after they just made the James Harden trade, which they've only played 2 games so far with James Harden. Both of them were super close. The first one was against the Sacramento Kings, and the second one was against the Nuggets. They ended up winning both games, but they were both close games. And honestly, I don't know how to assess this team right now. James Harden, I think, does make this team better. Of all the playoff teams, they play with the fastest pace of all the top playoff teams that I've talked about so far in this video. They do play very fast. But now that James Harden is on the team, that pace is going to come down. When James Harden has the ball in his hands and he's taking the ball up the court, he's not running like how this team was running beforehand. So I don't really know where I'm personally at on the Cavs right now, but I am going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say that they are contenders, but it's kind of like I'm not really sure about that team yet, to be honest. My opinion honestly can change in a couple games. If they play the next couple games and they're on a roll, I would be like, yeah, this team is contenders, 100%. But if in the next couple games they're not looking that good, I might be fully out. I honestly don't know. My opinion can be swayed either direction. Maybe you guys can let me know your opinion in the comments about the Cavs, so Maybe you can convince me. I don't know. But the next team that I want to talk about in the Eastern Conference is the Boston Celtics. Because the Celtics have surprised everybody this season. Without Jason Tatum, losing Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, a bunch of key rotational players from last season, this team is still in the top 3 in the Eastern Conference this year and looking really, really good. Most of that is on the shoulders of Jaylen Brown, who I think I just talked about in my awards video yesterday. Go watch that if you haven't yet. Jaylen Brown has a sneaky MVP consideration. But when it comes to the playoffs, when it comes to each individual matchup mattering so much, I don't think the Celtics are a contender. The reason why I think that is because we're going to need to see some of these players outside of Jaylen Brown really, really step up. Guys like Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Nikola Vucevic, who just got on this team after the deadline, those guys are going to have to step up if the Celtics want to actually compete for a championship. And I don't know if I trust those guys to really step up and bring this team to the next level that they're trying to get to without Jason Tatum. So I'm out on the Celtics. I don't think that they're contenders. So those are basically all of the teams that I really think have an actual conversation as if they're contenders or not contenders. So I kind of put these teams into 3 separate categories. Category number 1 is the for sure contenders. That is the OKC Thunder, the San Antonio Spurs, the Knicks, and the Pistons. And then we have a couple teams in the middle that I'm still kind of iffy about. I don't know. I see how somebody would think that they are contenders, but I also see the other side of the argument where maybe they're not contenders. Those teams are the Denver Nuggets and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then for the teams that I do not think are contenders are the Boston Celtics, the Lakers, and the Houston Rockets. If a team didn't get mentioned in this video, then I think that there's like no conversation for them being contenders. These are kind of all the teams that I can like see a little bit of contender-ish in them. But if a team didn't get brought up, like the Toronto Raptors or the Minnesota Timberwolves, I'm not really sure if I see those teams as contenders this season, which is why they didn't get brought up in this video. But let me know down below in the comments who you guys think are contenders. Who do you guys think are on that fringe? Who do you think, maybe you think the Spurs are a year too early and they're too young and they're not contenders? Let me know in the comments below. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe to Yanker Hoops. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Sterling Yanker. I'm out of here.